Shaun, we've said this a number of times before. Was that a story of Stockport taking their chances in the box and us not doing so?
Yeah, particularly at 0-0. Yeah, we have a massive chance. Yeah, we have to take it really. That was the difference in terms of the momentum of the game. I think we didn't quite get our pressure right in the first half. The second half was much better. And then look, I think the second goal again, look, numerically we're fine in the box, but it's one thing having numbers, but you have to defend it correctly. I think, look, the difference today was they were efficient in how they attacked our box, and we were the opposite. We had big chances, and we didn't take them. So I think in terms of our own and looking at ourselves, we have to defend the box better. As soon as we get the pressure right higher up, yeah, we have to defend our box better. That was the reason we got beat today, yeah.
I think the stats will show 11 shots apiece, 6 on target apiece. Their keeper, especially second half, he made some big saves, didn't he? Even Jason Kerr at the end, you know, was he the difference in the end, certainly for Stockport, in terms of keeping it out?
Yeah, no, look, from their point, yeah, the goalkeeper, he makes a brilliant save at 0-0, but from our point, we have to score. That's the difference between winning these games and not. Look, Stockport are a very strong side. Yeah, they've, in fairness to the manager and the owner, they've went strong in this league and every league. But really, the difference at that moment has to be at 0-0. We have to take that chance. We'd got our pressure right. Yeah, we weren't giving up massive chances in the game. So at that moment, we have to take it. And the moment we don't, and then I have to rely on the players tracking runs. If there's a player in the box in their area, they have to mark him tightly. And if we don't, then we concede, and that's where the 2 goals came from, yeah.
And you talked about not taking that chance. I think it was only a couple of minutes later, and then obviously fine margins, we've said that before, haven't we? But to get the goal straight from that. Yeah,
look, I think it's a bit more than the fine margins. I think in that moment, it's like we pressed them well, and it's a big chance for us. I don't think their goal is fine margins. I think it's basics or sort of foundations of a team. If you have to track a run, you track them. The second, the same. If there's a player in your area in the box, you have to be aggressive, and we weren't. That was the difference. I don't think that's fine margins. I think that's pretty fundamentals, yeah.
Is it disappointing to concede the second so quickly after the first, and obviously losing the ball in our own area, or do you look at that as the lads trying to play and be positive?
Yeah, look, I think when it went to 1, I think we changed the substitution and we were going to be more aggressive with 2 strikers, and we could have, on that right side, could have played out better, but it's still numerically fine in the box. We've got that extra player, but we don't mark properly. So, that can happen, but we have to defend our box, and we didn't. A different area we got wrong, but the same thing in terms of the defending the box.
You did make those changes in the second half, and Joseph Hungo obviously played Ronan in, and he looked sharp, didn't he, on the right?
Yeah, I thought Owendale again as well off the left looked good. So we've got competition for places. Look, we left Norburn out today. Cal Mack, Sessignon, like lads are pretty senior lads are, and that was just because of the performance against Fulham. The lads deserve to go again. I think that's the way it has to be. I think for large parts of this game, the performance was good, but it's the most critical areas that are costing us. I've said this many times: we're creating chances, but we can't take them. That's sort of been the story of our season today.
Is it more time on the training field? Is it finishing drills? Is it just being calm and composed in that final third when we get those chances? What? I know that's a $1 million question, isn't it? But how do we kind of make sure we convert those chances?
Yeah, I think obviously, look, from a coach's point, you're thinking about repetition and sort of making it quite relevant. But there has to be a certain trust that the players eventually they will take the chances, and then you're trying to create a squad that's ruthless enough that the lads know that they have to take these chances, or there's a guy pushing behind them. And it's probably something we haven't had. I think now we've got Goodwin and Taylor. Ronan's come in for obviously Asgard. Like, we need those players behind them and pushing. So that will probably evolve over over the time that I'm here. Yeah.
You mentioned Cess. It wasn't injury related then. He was just selection on the back of the Fulham performance.
Yeah, I think with Cesc it was more with the more substitutes against Fulham. He was fit to be involved if we really needed him. But the reality is he's trained 2 or 3 times, and he probably needs a reserve game, maybe another one, to then start to fight for a place. Yeah, I think that's probably the same with Dion in the next 3 or 4 weeks. The only reason with Cesc on the bench, it was we had more substitutes against Fulham. Yeah.
And Ronan and Dale, were they fit enough to start today, or obviously still getting back to match fitness? Will they come in from the start on Tuesday, perhaps?
I'm not too sure. I think Owen, I really like what he's given us off the bench at the moment. He's not had a 90 this year or this season, so yeah, I have to make that call. I think he'll be pretty close. And Ronan, similar. He was out for 5-6 weeks before he came here. And Baba, we have to be careful with, obviously 65-70 today. So yeah, but I'll pick the team that I think can beat Crawley. Yeah.
Just on Crawley, always another game around the corner, but a different sort of challenge on their patch.
Yeah, look, they play a certain way, so yeah, the challenges come thick and fast. I think certain parts of our performance were fine today, but there's others, and probably the most critical, they weren't again. So yeah, I have to fix that.